We decided at Brave New Films to do the videos about McCain because the mythology had sprung up, that he was a maverick, that he was a straight talker, and it's objectively not true. We went to work, we found the evidence, we found the videos, we proved the case, and we did our job, which was to inform the public about the facts.
I promise to tell the truth, always, about my intentions and my beliefs.
Straight talk.
Straight talk. A little straight talk. The success will be fairly easy.
I believe that we can win an overwhelming victory in a very short period of time.
Easy. It was easy. The American people were led to believe that this would be some kind of a day at the beach, which many of us fully understood from the beginning would be a very, very difficult undertaking.
I knew it was probably going to be long and hard and tough, and those that voted for it and thought that somehow it was going to be some kind of an easy task, then I'm sorry they were mistaken. Maybe they didn't know what they were voting for.
Straight talk. I went down to South Carolina and said that the flag that was flying over the state capitol, which was a Confederate flag, was that I shouldn't be involved in it. It was a state issue. It's an act of cowardice. Straight talk.
Neither party should be defined by pandering to the outer reaches of American politics and the agents of intolerance, whether they be Louis Farrakhan or Al Sharpton on the left, or Pat Robertson or Jerry Falwell on the right.
Do you believe that Jerry Falwell is still an agent of intolerance?
No, I don't.
McCain recently spent some political quality time with Falwell, delivering the commencement address at the Reverend's Fundamentalist Liberty University.
Thank you, Dr. Falwell. And thank you, Liberty University class of 2006.
Straight talk.
Should gay marriage be allowed?
I think that gay marriage should be allowed if there's a ceremony kind of thing, if you want to call it that. I don't have any problem with that. I believe if people want to have private ceremonies, it's fine. I do not believe that gay marriages should be legal.
Are you against civil unions for gay couples?
No, I am not. But that.
We knew that there was an interest from the public about the real story, the truthful story about McCain and what he was saying and what he was doing. We had no idea that there would be this incredible hunger and appetite. And the combined McCain videos have now been seen by over 5.5 million people. And that's without any advertising. What that means is people are getting the video and they're using it as it's meant to be used, which is, it's a tool. It's not enough if you just look at the video and say, oh, I learned something or I'm pissed off. You need to take it and then pass it on. And we're seeing this happen with hundreds of thousands of people consistently over the last 6 months.
My reaction to the McCain video was one of extreme gratitude to both Robert and the entire crew at Brave New Films for getting out the real story about the real John McCain, which is something that's not been said or talked about in the mainstream media. John McCain is not the same John McCain of 8 years ago. And I think my brother Howard actually said it best. McCain 2000 wouldn't vote for John McCain in 2008. I think it's really pretty clear that John McCain is really trying the same sort of Bush formula towards getting elected to president. He believes in trying to instill fear among the American public. Obviously, it's very important for all of us to register to vote. Second, you can go to training programs such as the Democracy for America has to get more and more involved with campaigns and advocacy for any of the candidates that are running because all of these elections are going to be important. It's going to be very important for all of us to mobilize.
Your call is important to us. Please continue to hold and we'll be with you shortly.
Thank you for holding. How can I be of service to you today?
Yes, I have this recurring charge on my monthly statement, and I can't figure out what it's for.
Well, we'll certainly do our best to help you. What does the charge say on your statement?
Well, it's a $275 charge, and it just says Iraq War.
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. The Iraq War cost the average American family over $16,000 since the war started.
Are you kidding? Well, I never signed up for that.
I'm sorry, ma'am. You don't sign up for the Iraq War charge. It's a standard charge for all Americans.
Well, that doesn't make any sense. I'm going to need to speak to your supervisor.
I'm sorry. He's vacationing at the ranch this week. But while you're still in the line, can I interest you in our new monthly Iran war charge?
No, you cannot.
Well, we appreciate your help in the fight against the evildoers. Thanks for calling the United States. You have a great day.
There's going to be other wars. I'm sorry to tell you, there's going to be other wars. We will never surrender, but there will be other wars. And right now, we're going to have a lot of PTSD to treat.
Thank you for calling the United States Customer Support Center. Someone will be with you shortly.
Thanks for calling. How can I help you today?
I'm not sure if you can. I've been trying to get this $275 Iraq war charge taken off my monthly bill for months and months.
Please hold. We are making America safer and brighter futures
driving me
for everyone.
insane.
Freedom ain't free, ma'am.
Yeah, I know. And in the meanwhile, every damned American family spending $16,500 since this war began. I've lost my job and I've lost my home because of these costs.
You realize that if the freedom haters win, they'll take your house.
Did you just hear me?
Please hold.
I follow you closely, Senator, believe it. Here's the question and answer.
President Bush has talked about our staying in Iraq for 50 years.
Maybe 100.
The big concern is that you've got someone who's saying they're going to be the president. They want to be president. And at the same time, they're completely disconnected from this American reality. We're neglecting the needs of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of Americans who are needy. We've got 40 million Americans who are uninsured. All of the dollars that are going overseas could be invested in strengthening U.S. infrastructure and helping American families. Well, the goal of Color of Change is to take folks who care, right? You care about the things that you read, opportunities for positive change, things that are going wrong that perhaps you could fix. All too often, there's no easy kind of pathway into making change, and so the whole idea of Color of Change is to use technology as a way to give people a way to taste what change making can look like. It's as simple as putting your email address into a field on a form on the web and saying, yes, please send that to Bush, or please send that to my member of Congress. When you do that with 20,000, 100,000 other people, that means something when it hits the congressman or the congresswoman's desk. So it's really about building engagement, helping people get involved. It starts with petitions, let's say, often. Next thing you know, it could be a phone call, it could be a contribution for an ad that gets run on television. And as people engage in these activities, they see the fruits of their labor, their labor or their pocketbook, and they feel a sense of community as they're joined with others. This democracy only works when people are engaged, right? I mean, that's the whole idea. And in this election, it couldn't be clearer to me that we've got two candidates who stand for very different things, a very different vision of America, have a very different sense of what it looks like to be connected to everyday Americans. And the only way we're going to end up with a candidate who's supporting the people is going to be for the people to be making that happen.
They're always saying they support the troops, but when you come back and your veterans benefits barely cover your education, if it does at all, it's not really putting any weight behind those words.
They paint the picture perfect at the beginning, but then once you've done your time and everything, like, we don't know you.
While I was deployed overseas, I served as a supply specialist in a military police unit.
I was instructor for the Iraqi National Guardsmen, and my third tour I was a tank commander for my platoon.
I was in a Navy corpsman attached to 1st Marine Division as a rifle platoon corpsman. For my first deployment, I was in Najaf in 2004. We fought the Sadr militia in the Battle of Najaf in the Wadi As-Salam cemetery.
Done 8 years in the service, and Out of those 8 years, I've been part of 2 major operations, Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraq and Freedom.
I actually spent about 6 months in southern Iraq, moved up to Mosul for about a month and a half, and then the last 4 months were spent in the Diyala province north of Aqaba.
When I enlisted, I was under the impression that my college would be paid for, that I would have nothing to worry about.
I was just told you're going to pretty much get your whole school paid for.
The current GI Bill is inadequate. It's not covered. It hasn't kept up with the cost of living or cost of tuition or the cost of books.
Well, what I'm given in the GI Bill every month is about $650.
Working, commuting to school, commuting to work. I mean, you still need to pay for your meals. You still need to pay for electricity.
GI Bill doesn't cover my entire education.
I mean, I'm in debt right now.
It's a little different now. I have to look at things different, maybe not go to the schools that I want to because I can't afford it.
Back in World War II, the vets that came home, their tuition and room and board and books and everything was fully covered by the GI Bill.
The Servicemen's Readjustment Act of 1944, better known as the GI Bill of Rights. Tuition is taken care of, funds are provided for laboratory fees, books, supplies, and equipment are included.
It's not the same as it was in World War II, I guess, with the benefits that we're getting today.
Senator Jim Webb, decorated Marine Vietnam veteran, has a new GI Bill that covers tuition to the price of a state college.
Bring the old GI Bill back and allow these young men and women, if they served on active duty, to be able to exercise those GI benefits without paying into the system that they now have to pay into.
This seemed to me to be a no-brainer, a true and meaningful GI Bill benefit for those who've been serving since 9/11.
If the new bill passed, I think everybody will jump for joy.
It'll provide the people like me and veterans that are coming home and soldiers and sailors, Marines and airmen that are going overseas. It gives them peace of mind.
You'll see more veterans making a better life for themselves.
If the new bill passed and I got the education that I could out of it, then I could do pretty much anything, however high my aspirations are in life.
You answered the call when it came, took up arms for your country's sake, and fought to the limit of your ability.
I wouldn't have the faintest idea why a member of Congress wouldn't want to support this.
If I could talk to John McCain, I would try to appeal to him as a fellow veteran.
He should understand how hard it is for veterans to transition back into civilian life.
He should put himself on our shoes, a veteran himself, and then make the right choice.
We've become used to the administration opposing veterans' issues. I mean, this is their customary policy. But coming from somebody like Senator McCain, who knows veterans' issues well because he was a veteran, it's even more disappointing. I mean, his education was financed by taxpayers at the Naval Academy. And now why is he going to tell veterans of this era, of this generation, that they can't get their education financed using the GI Bill? But while we're deployed, all we hear about from people like the administration and a lot of people in Congress is that they support us. Well, now we see Senator McCain and the administration opposing the GI Bill that was proposed by Senator Webb. And this bill is needed. I mean, it's been the most significant piece of veterans legislation to come down over the last 15, 20 years. And for them not to support it shows where their true feelings really are. The study that he normally cites by Rand, which is showing his excuse for opposing the measure, which is retention issues, that study also shows that while there might be a 16% that might get out to use the GI Bill, there would also be 16% more brought into service that wouldn't have signed up without having the benefit of the new GI Bill. In order for the American public to get involved, they have to do things that we've done for many years. And now with internet access, and with the internet being as popular as it is now, it's easier to sign on to petitions, web petitions from organizations like ours and other groups.
Now this track has been tearing up the charts on the internet. You know him, maybe you love him. It's John McCain singing Bomb Iran.
He has served his country in the military, the Congress, and the Senate. Now he serves America with song.
And
old Beach Boys song, Bomberan? Bom, bom, bom. Bomberan, bom, bom, bom. Bomberan, bom, bom, bom. Bomberan, bom, bom, bom.
President Bush has talked about our staying in Iraq for 50 years.
Maybe 100. Maybe 100. Maybe 100. I'm sorry to tell you, there's going to be other wars. Other wars. Wars, wars. Other wars. Wars, wars, wars. Wars, wars, wars.
John McCain's platform, and it certainly looks inviting for the fall. He has promised less jobs and more wars.
Nobody but nobody's gonna rain on my parade.
My initial reaction to this Bomb Iran video was really just creepy. You know, I've heard John McCain speak before, and he's not only uninspiring, he's anti-inspiring. Like, he makes me not want to vote, maybe even unregister. You look at how quickly he took a question about us attacking Iran and made a joke out of it. It was very easy. It came naturally to him, the idea of bombing and destroying and really murdering people flippantly. And I think we have such big problems. It's not just healthcare or just the economy. It's the combination of healthcare and the economy and energy and the climate all piled into one at the same time. That requires a level of newness, a level of a different approach that I just don't think he can bring. So I'm not saying he's a bad person, I just think he's the wrong person for right now. There are a number of things people can do to sort of stand up against McCain and be involved. The first is just to pay attention. You know, turn off Dancing with the Stars for a couple of minutes and all The Bachelor and all that stuff, and make some space to try to understand what's going on in the debates, what's going on in the news coverage, and then call that coverage when it's off. This is our country, this is our election, so take charge of that. Vote at a bare minimum, but most importantly, I think people should have that conversation about some of these political topics with their neighbors, with their friends, with their family members. That's the thing that's actually affected me the most. I do a lot of things online. I'm involved in internet activism. I volunteer and go to rallies. But what's touched me the most is actually talking to people I know or barely know about some of these deep-seated issues.
Senator McCain is becoming closer and closer to the oil industry. There was a time a few years ago when he opposed tax breaks for big oil companies. Now he supports them. He used to support protection of our coasts, the Atlantic and Pacific coast, from oil drilling. Now he wants to drill there. He used to support protection for the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge in Alaska. Now he may be reconsidering that stance too.
If you've seen gasoline prices lately, then you know they are close to an all-time record.
AAA now says gasoline prices have hit new highs for 21 consecutive days.
You would not require the oil industry to use its profits to help pursue alternative energy.
I would not require them to.
Gas prices are spiking. The national average is now $2.66.
As gas prices continue to inch past the $3 mark, the national average for regular is just pennies away from a record high set following Hurricane Katrina.
Gas prices have climbed to another all-time high, just below $4 a gallon nationally.
$4 gas is already a painful reality today in the four corners of the country.
This is ridiculous.
You would not require the oil industry to use its profits to help pursue alternative energy.
I would not require them to.
My biggest concern about a John McCain presidency is that will be the Bush third term, that Senator McCain will continue the energy policies of President Bush and Vice President Cheney, which are of oil companies, for oil companies, and by oil companies. He used to be an opponent of big oil, and now he's starting to adopt their agenda. It's essential that citizens become active in this upcoming election. It's very critical. Their involvement will make sure our candidates are better and that the decisions they make as elected officials will be better.
The biggest concerns I have about getting John McCain elected is that he has completely turned himself around on so many different issues. Whereas he once told us that religious extremists were agents of intolerance, he has clearly embraced those very same religious extremists.
Islam is an anti-Christ religion that intends through violence to conquer the world.
And I'm very honored today to have one of the truly great leaders in America, a moral compass, a spiritual guide, Pastor Rod Parsley, who is here.
The fact is that America was founded, I'm going to stagger you right now, America was founded in part with the intention of seeing this false religion destroyed. Muhammad received revelations from demon spirits, not from the living God.
I want to say thank you for being here. I want to thank you Rob, for your kind introduction.
America has historically understood herself to be a bastion against Islam in the world.
For your leadership and your guidance, I'm very grateful you're here, sir.
In fact, I'll tell you this, I do not believe our nation can truly fulfill its divine purpose until we understand our historical conflict with Islam.
And I want to assure you, he should be talking, not me.
When it comes to Islam, now the greatest religious enemy of our civilization in the world, it's dangerous.
We were built for the battle. We were created for the conflict. We get off on warfare.
Now, McCain wants to be leader of the United States. The United States has to deal with a lot of Muslim and Islamic people and nations around the world. In fact, we're stuck in one in Iraq. And so what message would it send to the rest of the world if McCain is hobnobbing with someone who basically says, I want to see Islam crushed? It's not a good thing. John McCain, when he ran for president in 2000, actually campaigned against Christian fundamentalists. He called Jerry Falwell and Pat Robertson agents of intolerance. But then he lost, of course, that campaign and realized that if he ever wanted to be the nominee of the Republican Party, he would have to make nice with that big part of the GOP base, fundamentalist Christians. So he spent years repairing the breach that had come between the two, and and talking politely to them and about them and supporting them. So now the question then becomes, what happened to the straight-talking political maverick that John McCain likes to call himself?
The Parsley video started over a cup of coffee in Washington, D.C. that I was having with David Korn, the editor of Mother Jones. And we, at that time, decided we would work together if he could find the video. In the meantime, we went out here at Brave New Films and started researching for video and clips of McCain with Parsley.
The Washington bureau chief of Mother Jones, David Korn, got a hold of these sermons was by ordering it from the church.
And I think it was a month later, David sent me an excited email. He had it, he found it, and it was on the way. At that point, the editing team and the researchers for our Issues 08 jumped into action.
We worked in partnership with Mother Jones. They sent us some footage of his sermon, his Silent No More sermon.
America has historically understood herself to be a bastion against Islam in the world.
And we went through that and found some of the most biting remarks to use, which was pretty easy because most of the sermon is full of material that's ridiculous.
But when it comes to Islam, now the greatest religious enemy of our civilization in the world, it's dangerous.
What we did is we took those clips, went through them.
Started using the McCain footage we had, the Parsley footage David sent us, quickly cut something together. In about 48 hours, it was up and back and gone through 5-6 different versions approved by everybody.
So once the video was produced, the role of my department is to take our videos and ultimately to get them out there into the news cycle.
A letter was drafted and it was sent out to our extensive email list, And David posted it at Mother Jones, we posted it at our website, and then an explosion happened. It was being sent around. We had a couple of 100,000 people look at it in I think about a week or a week and a half. And it went through a few very distinct steps. First, it went to the email list, blogs, it was posted on websites, it was linked to.
Then it was a matter of breaking through to the mainstream media. The way we do that is really just old-fashioned gumshoe cold calling of reporters. We come up with a list of target media outlets that we think would be interested in the story.
And over the course of a week, we saw it build and build. And then it worked its way into television.
Chris and Bonnie, I want to play something for you that is ricocheting around the internet. This is something that was posted on motherjones.com.
And it is about the new pastor problems plaguing another presidential hopeful, this time John McCain.
The hundreds of thousands of people who had seen it continued to send it around.
But if that is McCain's plan if elected, he seems to have already badly complicated it by recruiting the support of an evangelical minister.
America was founded in part with the intention of seeing this false religion destroyed.
Parsley's words, his connection to McCain, are now showing up on Arab websites and newspapers. The headline here, McCain's spiritual advisor calls for the destruction of Islam. A huge handicap for McCain.
People continued to write comments on the websites, on the blogs, at Huffington Post.
So who does McCain call a spiritual advisor? When McCain sought and won the endorsement of Pastor Rod Parsley, he called him one of America's, quote, truly great leaders, a moral compass, a spiritual guide.
And lo and behold, I remember the email, rumor that McCain is going to disavow Parsley, was I believe the words. And a few hours later, there it was.
Support of these folks early on?
We just got word while you were talking, literally, that on the AP wire, there's a story that he is now repudiating the remarks of Pastor Rod Parsley.
Well, there you go.
Which would be the first time we have heard that. We have not independently confirmed that, but we're going to try to check on that in this hour as we extensively covered this in the beginning of the program tonight.
It's pretty exciting to get it out and for it to be getting major news coverage, and obviously it didn't take long before all the networks jumped on board.
For me, what was really awesome was having John McCain then reject his endorsement basically immediately after the video came out and all of this heat centered around the topic.
He jumped off the bandwagon pretty fast.
When we got the word that McCain had disavowed Parsley, we were definitely celebrating at Brave New Films. It was a significant victory, and it was significant because the process had worked so well. The process of telling truth with video, getting it distributed, having the netroots pick it up, and then the main media, and then forcing McCain to back off. The Parsley video followed some other victories. So it was accumulation over a period of time, but it definitely was one of the sweetest ones because of the specificity of knowing that the Parsley video that we put together so clearly resulted in McCain saying no.
Now, last week, McCain also rejected the endorsement of Pastor Rod Parsley. I believe Rod Parsley is his porn name. When it surfaced that Reverend Rod also said a couple things about another religion. Take a look.
Islam is an anti-Christ religion that intends through violence to conquer the world. America was founded in part with the intention of seeing this false religion destroyed.
That is obvious to anyone who has read my screenplay, National Treasure 3, America was founded in part with the intention of seeing this false religion destroyed.
Well, I think the parallel between McCain and Bush is that they're both, first and foremost, very good politicians. They want to be loved by the audience that they're in front of. And the problem is that means that, if you put McCain in front of a bunch of very far-right evangelicals, let's say, he's going to embrace someone like Reverend, like Pastor Hagee, who thinks that the Holocaust was the work of God. If you put him in front of oil executives, he's going to give you an energy policy that's very friendly to oil executives. And you can really, Bush was exactly the same way. And it's hard to remember after 8 years of the Bush administration, but his campaign in 2000 didn't look a whole lot different from McCain's campaign in 2008. And I think that's a warning to all of us to look through the spin a little bit and find out what his policies actually are.
It's been my honor to welcome my friend John McCain as the nominee of the Republican Party. John showed incredible courage, strength of character, and perseverance. And that's exactly what we need in a president. And if he wants my pretty face standing by his side at one of these rallies, I'll be glad to show up. A man who I have great admiration, respect, and affection. So I welcome you here. I wish you all the best. I'm proud to be your friend. Thank you all very much.
Humor and satire have a long historical tradition of being really critical and important tools in affecting governments and getting a message out to people that sometimes they don't hear in other ways. We decided to do this particular video after we were completely outraged at the level and inane questions that were asked over and over and over again. Here we are struggling with these critical issues, and the stupidity and the narrowness of the questions were really an affront to democracy.
From Washington, this week with ABC News Chief Washington Correspondent, George Stephanopoulos.
Senator McCain joins us now. Good morning, Senator.
Morning, George. How are you?
Doing just fine, Senator. Now, we've been hearing a lot lately about how you called Barack Obama an elitist. Considering you own 8 homes and married a beer company heiress who is worth $100 million, isn't it actually you who is an elitist?
The money's coming in very heavily now. And we're doing fine, George.
Staying on the topic of Cindy for a moment, you espouse family values, yet you left your first wife to get with a younger, hot former cheerleader. That's pretty hypocritical, don't you think?
There's no doubt about that, my friend.
You're telling me. Now, a lot of Washington insiders have mentioned your famous short temper. If you have such rage problems, should you really be trusted with your finger on the button, so to speak? Okay. Why don't we switch topics? You recently said you were very proud to accept the endorsement of Pastor John Hagee, a man who thinks we should attack Iran to bring about Armageddon. Do you really think this man is someone the President of the United States should associate with?
I think that he's important. I think he's done most of the things we want us to do. He can play a key and pivotal role. I want us to urge him to move forward. I think he may do that.
Now, you've been calling yourself a straight talker since the campaign started, but you've flip-flopped on so many issues over the years. The Bush tax cuts, Jerry Falwell, gay marriage, the list goes on. Who is the real John McCain?
I think he's a person who's changed his positions on many issues, and the voters know that, and they'll decide that.
Wow, this has really been eye-opening, Senator. It's too bad this is just a fantasy, and I don't really have the balls to ask you these questions in real life. Thanks for talking to us, Senator McCain. It's been interesting.
The whole context of this election is that the media is in love with John McCain. They just love him. And they give him a pass long after, it's clear that on many issues, he's this very conservative Bush Republican. They believe in this myth of McCain as this kind of independent maverick figure.
Senator McCain will appoint justices to the Supreme Court that will tip the balance and will overturn reproductive rights and Roe v. Wade.
Welcome to President McCain's Women's Clinic. Is there something I can help you with today, ma'am?
Yes, I had some questions about what my birth control options are.
Sure, I'd be happy to help you. Here's a list of birth control options that the McCain Clinic offers.
This is a blank sheet of paper.
Why, yes, it is.
I asked about birth control options.
Uh-huh. And at the McCain Clinic, you don't have any. Welcome to the McCain Women's Clinic, revoking your rights since 2009. What can I do for you?
I wanted to get information to talk to my daughter about how to prevent HIV and sexually transmitted diseases.
Oh, sure. I have a pamphlet right here that the McCain Clinic recently published. I think you'll find it very comprehensive.
was looking for something with factual medical information.
I'm sorry, did you not read the pamphlet? It's pretty clear.
It just says, just don't have sex.
Hello, McCain's Women's Clinic, where a man decides what's best for all women. How may I help you? Oh no, ma'am, haven't you heard? President McCain made sure Roe v. Wade was overturned after he took office. I'm sorry you feel that way, ma'am, but John McCain knows what's best for women. Well, no, he's not a doctor, but he's the president, so you don't have a choice. Hello? Hello? Must have been a bad connection.
I think it's very, very important that young women, all women, get out there, talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors, talk to each other about Senator McCain's record. Senator McCain has a long record. He has cast a lot of votes. We need to have a critical eye in looking at his record, and we need to understand that Senator McCain is not a friend to women.
The neighborhoods are safe. We walk down the streets with no body armor on.
McCain's delegation was guarded by more than 100 American soldiers with 3 Black Hawk helicopters and 2 Apache gunships overhead.
General Petraeus goes out there almost every day in an unarmed Humvee.
Because I checked with General Petraeus' people overnight, and they said that he never goes out in anything less than an up-armored Humvee.
Well, I'm not saying that they could go without protection. I've been involved in every national security issue for the last 20 years. I am prepared. I am prepared, need no on-the-job training. Al-Qaeda is going back into Iran and receiving training.
You said that the Iranians were training Al-Qaeda.
I'm sorry.
Extremists.
I'm sorry, the Iranians are training extremists, not Al-Qaeda.
I've come here and told these people, never again will a disaster, either natural or man-made, be mishandled in this fashion.
McCain said if he were in charge during Katrina, he would have been on the ground helping.
The morning that Katrina made land, mere hours after it hit, where was Senator McCain? Celebrating his own birthday with President Bush right next to Air Force One on the ground in Arizona.
Senator McCain, you have said repeatedly, quote, I know a lot less about economics than I do about military and foreign policy issues. I still need to be educated.
Actually, I don't know where you got that quote from.
I got it from John McCain, and here it is. Quote, I'm going to be honest. I know a lot less about economics than I do about military and foreign policy issues. I still need to be educated.
I've got to convince people because of my extensive background on the economy and knowledge. I don't have that kind of expertise to know exactly whether he has cut interest rates sufficiently or not.
Senator McCain, are Americans better off than they were 8 years ago?
I think you could argue that Americans overall are better off.
Senator, you do not believe we are better off by any means than we were 8 years ago.
Oh, no. We let spending get completely out of control. Of course, those tax cuts have to remain permanent. I voted against the tax cuts.
You voted to extend them?
I voted to extend them. I voted against the tax cut.
I've always been for tax cuts. We either keep our word or we don't keep our word. I intend to keep my word to the American people.
When I saw the videos, I thought, yes, this is exactly what people need to see, because it exposes the hypocrisy, frankly, that of many McCain's positions, and it also exposes what we're missing from a lot of the mainstream media.
We've created the Real McCain so that all of you can have a tool, all of you can have a way to be active, all of you can get involved using the video, working with the great groups that are on this DVD, and saying, I will not sit by idly. I will do something.
This is the big one. This is the big election that's going to define the direction of our country for decades to come. I mean, if you want to stand up against McCain, you need to help get the word out. And that starts by getting involved in your own community. We've set up this network that allows people pretty easily to kind of have the talking points and the materials and everything you need to do to actually get out the word in your community. And then, the other piece is, ultimately this is an election, and it's going to come down to who gets more votes, and that's determined by persuasion, and it's determined by turnout. It's determined how many people actually show up at the polls. And we need to do both of those things. And what we try to do at Move On is make it really easy to do both of those things. So if you only have 5 minutes a day, great. Come to the website, sign up, and we can help you, really have an impact with those 5 minutes a day.
Do something. I definitely think it's important for people to be active in politics. Someone once said, politics is too important to leave to the politicians. I don't know who said it. I'll take credit for it because it sounds really smart.
Work on a congressional campaign in our district, city council race, legislative race. All of these are critical, again, to solving the challenges that we face. The game is sort of rigged against the average person. You've got politicians in power, they raise a lot of money, they hold their seats, they have lobbyists and other industry people who have their ear all the time. The only way to really affect something positive and something for the people is for the people themselves to actually get involved.
Read up and really understand who's Barack Obama, who's John McCain. So to the degree that you can understand who these two folks are, understand their visions of America, understand their records, and then talk about it.
Because all of these elections are going to be important. It's going to be very important for all of us to mobilize.
And we need people doing these campaigns to get everyone they know, your friends, your family, your colleagues, your old college buddies, whatever, get people to the polls.
What we're really committed to is seeing this through after this election is over so that we really can have affordable health care for every single American, so that we really do bring our troops home from Iraq, and so that we really do start getting something done about energy independence and global warming.
I think more than anything, what's important is to realize that this is our government. It works when we decide to get involved. And whatever that looks like for you, figure that out and then go do it.
This election is critical.
I don't think it's an overstatement to say what's at stake in this election is the future of our country.